Peace. What's good, YouTube? It's Kareem Samadi back again with another video. All right, so today we're gonna get into exactly the two biggest things that prevent you from becoming the best version of yourself and many different solutions to deal with these things. All right, so what are these two biggest things? These two biggest things are blame and excuses. All right. And I've talked about this in the past, but I haven't really made a long in-depth video about this, right? But blame and excuses are essentially you creating a subconscious program for why you can't do something. And the first thing I want to tell anybody, right? And it doesn't matter what you're trying to do, whether it's spiritual transformation, whether it's NoFap, whether it's semen retention, whether it's starting a business, getting a career started, getting a girl, getting a guy, whatever it might be, getting rich, anything. You either want it or you don't want it. You're either doing what you need to do or you're not doing it, right? If you want to get in shape, you are either working out or you're slacking off. You're either eating right or you're not. The concept of you wanting things, or not, like you have to really give out, the vibration that you really want, what you want in life. You have to put yourself in a position to where you're telling yourself that, yes, I'm doing everything that I can, everything in my power. Because when you actually do that, that's when you do get the results that you seek. Rather than you only giving 30%, you only giving 50%. Are you giving 100% in every possible way? Because if you're not, then you don't 100% want it. Even if you only 90% want it, if you're not giving 100%, you're not giving 100%, right? You can't 100%, or you can't 80% want to get into shape. You have to 100% want to get into shape. You can't love someone 80%. You have to love someone 100%. You can't 80% love yourself, 20% hate yourself. This is what we have to understand. And so when we make blame, when we blame people, when we make excuses, we blame conditions as to why we can't do anything. All we're saying is that we don't really want it. Doesn't matter what the outside factors are. I've listened to people tell me blue in the face how much they want to get into shape. I listen to people tell me blue in the face how much they want to quit porn. I listen to people tell me blue in the face how much they want to talk to a girl but choose not to. I've listened to people tell me blue in the face, how much they want to change their living situation, how much they want to change, their financial situation, but they really don't want to because they probably only 20% want these things and 80% don't believe it's possible. So, this is very key, right? Because you can make excuses all day. You can make excuses for anything, but instead of making excuses, why don't you make reasons as to why you can do something? Because as many reasons as you can make as to why you can't, you can make infinite amount of reasons as to why you can, right? So this is why I say you either want it or you don't. And I had to learn this, right? I've been running my YouTube channel for a long time, actually. 12 years now I think about it. And that was back when I was 12 years old. I started this channel. And I first started this channel doing stop motion videos, Sonic stop motion videos, right? And at that time I could have said, well, I'm just a kid, I can't get a camera, my mom won't buy me a camera. But I didn't say that. I just did it. I got exactly what I needed. I had people around me, buy all the toys that I needed so I can make those stop motion videos. And I made them. I did exactly what I said I was gonna do. They're all unlisted now because obviously I want to do different things. But, at the time, I had to do it. And the same thing applies now, right? When I took that hiatus, from when I was Red Reams, I took that hiatus, I still had to convince myself that, okay, I have to go back to YouTube at some point. Even if I want to change the direction of this channel, I have to go back to YouTube at some point because I either want it or I don't want it, right? And that was a hard lesson for me to learn too. So you either want to do things or you don't want to do things. Back when I was out of shape 2 or 3 years ago, I didn't always have a six pack. I always wasn't 170 pounds of muscle, right? I had to actually get myself into shape. Even when I was in the Marines, I still wasn't in the best shape until towards the end of my contract. You know, I had to really get myself into the gym instead of blaming how much work was stressing me out, how much work was making me tired, making excuses, right? You know, and that goes to the next point, because nobody gives a fuck about your excuses. I don't care about your excuses, right? What are you doing right now? What are you doing today, you know, to get yourself where you want to be, to become the best version of yourself? What are you doing, right? Are you following, are you doing everything in your power? You know, are you making reasons as to why you can and then doing it, getting a step closer every day? Because if you're not, then you're not really willing to transform, right? So, and this is a big thing when it comes to spiritual shit, because a lot of people, they want to learn, read books. But when it comes to doing the exercises in the books, nobody wants to do it, right? When it comes to doing the meditations, ain't nobody want to meditate. When it comes to, you know, applying what you read in these books to your life, nobody wants to do it. Think and Grow Rich. A lot of people have read it. Very few people have applied what's in it. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. A lot of people have read it. Very little people have applied what's in it. You know, Holy Quran, the Bible. A lot of people have read it. Very little have applied what's in it. Have even figured out what's in it. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, exactly what the story is when it comes to you wanting to be where you want to be, right? Nobody cares about the story that you tell yourself, you know, as to why you're not where you are in life. Nobody cares whether you have 2, 3 kids. What are you doing right now to get where you want to be? Nobody cares whether you had a divorce. What are you doing right now to be where you want to be? Nobody cares how much pizza you ate 2, 3 years ago and now you're 400 pounds, right? What are you doing right now to be where you want to be? You see where I'm getting at? Like, you can make excuses all day long. You can complain all day long, but that doesn't tell me, you know, that doesn't tell yourself, okay, well, what are you doing right now to get there? See, and a lot of people, they just want to chat. They just want to tell people, yeah, you know, I was doing this, I was doing that, you know, and, you know, I just didn't really feel like I was really getting much out of it, you know, but, and then and when you pry them about it, they're like, yeah, but I don't know, right? And so we really have to understand this, right? Because a lot of people, they just want to talk about the story. They want to talk about, hey, you know what? I grew up in poverty. Hey, you know what? I didn't really have everything, but you know what? Like, hey, this is just my life. It is what it is. You know, you tell yourself that it is what it is. It will always be what it is, because you're not seeing anything greater than what it is. You know, you're not doing anything greater than what it is. You know, you're living within your comfort zone. Right. And so you can't go anywhere in your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is a little bubble, right? You have to think of your comfort zone as a little bubble, and you have to think of the universe as an infinite bubble. To get into that infinite bubble, you have to move out of that little bubble that you've been trained to be in, right? Because any little bubble that we put ourselves in can easily become a prison. Your comfort zone is a prison. So the more you continue to tell yourself all these excuses as to why you aren't where you want to be, you know, the more that you begin to subconsciously create something that really imprisons you, you know. And it took me a while to realize this too, because I would always tell people, I mean, yes, I was always working on stuff that I wanted to work on. I've always been working on my book, right? But when it came to me finding ways to actually begin to bring it into reality, bring not just that one book, but other books as well. When it came for me to wanting to do things like I'm doing right now on YouTube, right? You know, I didn't always exactly know how to. And that was just simply because of the fact that I wasn't really taking it seriously, taking myself seriously, right? And so that's why, you know, I'll tell people about these things, or I was telling people about these things, but I wasn't always applying. And sometimes I would always say, I didn't really have the time. Why didn't I have the time? Oh, well, I was still, you know, obligated with the military, you know, but that really wasn't an excuse either, because I finished at least one book in the military too, you know. And I know when I was in the military, I was spending a lot of time playing video games. Now imagine if I wasn't spending all that time playing video games, how much I would have accomplished, right? So nobody cares about the story as to why you aren't where you want to be besides you, right? And so the minute you start to detach yourself from that, start to detach yourself from from all the bullshit excuses you're telling yourself, that's when you can really start to see the bigger picture. But first you have to see, okay, how many excuses am I really making? Because you have to realize that the more excuses that you make for yourself, the more you lock yourself down into your little bubble. The more that you continue to lie to yourself, the more that you continue to do yourself a disservice, and you also disconnect yourself from your higher guidance because you don't believe that there's still a way to achieve these dreams. There's still a way to transform. There's still a way to grow, right? And so the next thing I want to get into is that excuses are just subconscious ways of saying, I don't want to. There is no such thing as can't. I can't. There is no such thing as I can't. I had a track coach one time, and he would always say, never say that you can't. And whenever you did say can't, right, the entire track team got punished. Not just you, the entire track team. Because the reason why he wanted to drill this into our heads is simply because of the fact that when you say you can't, you're already surrendering to the fact that you don't want to do something. You're not even allowing yourself to try. When you say the word can't, you are already creating a block. And that block is simply based on the fact that I don't want to, and the thing is, what you got to understand is that when it comes to whatever goal that you set for yourself, you have to be willing to lose everything to achieve that goal. You have to be willing to lose everything to become the best version of yourself. But a lot of us, we're not willing to lose everything. We're not willing to step out our comfort zone. You're not willing to lose everything to start your business. You're not willing to lose everything, to truly transform as an individual. You're not willing to give up what makes you comfortable. You're not willing to give up those people that aren't serving you. You're not willing to give up those drugs that aren't serving you. You're not willing to give up that porn that's not serving you, that's not giving you anything back, right? So anybody saying that I can't does not want to, because they are blocking themselves from being able to think greater than their environment, to think greater than their current situation. This is why I always say, when you want to manifest, you have to see the best version of you. And then see what that woman is doing every single day. You want to become a god, you want to become a goddess, see what that god and goddess is doing in the future every single day and align yourself with that. You want to become a business owner, a CEO, see what that CEO is doing every single day. You want to become an artist, you want to become a music artist, a manga artist, a comic book artist, see what that artist is doing every single day. A writer, see what that writer is doing every single day and mimic that, role play that every single day. Research on how to be like that every single day. There is no such thing as a legitimate excuse unless you are dead. That's your only excuse. And even when you're dead, I know for a fact that after you die, you still have ways to work on things that you want to work on in the afterlife or in the interim, in the astral world. Because I got a channel on that just a few days ago. And I was helping people in the astral world just a few days ago who had died in a parallel universe. So you can still work on things even after you die, right? So there is no such thing as I can't. Don't even entertain the word can't. Don't even entertain any doubts. Don't entertain that, right? I refuse to believe in anything that does not empower me. And that is why I'm unstoppable, right? Even if right now I only have 572 subscribers, I still refuse to believe that I can't hit 1 million, because I know I'm worthy of more than 1 million. So I continue to do the utmost and the best work that I possibly can. But even then, my mind's not attached to chasing that number. I'm just doing what I can to inspire who I can, because I'm already meant to be doing this. Even if it's only 30 people, 40 people, 100 people, 200 people, I'm still doing what I came here to do. Large numbers or not. And I'm still taken care of. So there is no such thing as I can't. There's only an I don't want to, subconsciously. So be aware of that. Every time you try to make excuses, you try to complain as to why you are where you are, you try to blame other people as to why you are where you are, be aware of that. Be aware of what you're telling yourself subconsciously, right? Because, nobody cares whether you can't, right? When it comes to really becoming the best version of yourself, when it comes to to transforming when it comes to spiritual work, ultimately, no one gives a fuck about your evolution but you. So you either want to surrender to the process and just go as hard as you possibly can. In reality, you don't even have to do anything, right? But you either want to surrender to the process and let your higher self take the wheel, let God take the wheel, or you either want to resist it and say, I can't, it's too much. It's out of my reach. This just isn't for me, right? Maybe it's not for you because you keep saying that you can't. Maybe, all these things that you're supposed to be, all these things that you sit there dreaming about, daydreaming about, all these things that you fantasize about, the life that you want to live, maybe it's really not for you because you're telling yourself that you're not worthy. You're giving yourself a subconscious lack mindset, right? And this is exactly what blame, excuses, and complaining does. It gives you a lack mindset. This is why a lot of people, they want to be rich, but they have a lack mindset because they like to blame their past. They like to complain about their past. And in other words, they'll complain and they'll tell the story over and over again about how they came up out the hood with nothing, and over and over again, they just keep feeding that same past over and over again. They just keep feeding, rich people, they're all evil. Money's the root of all evil. They keep feeding themselves all this programming, and they limit themselves from really seeing a bigger picture. And it's not just about money. This could be about anything. A lot of people just keep telling themselves story after story after story. But very rarely are people really doing anything to change their situation. And to first change your situation, you have to change your mindset, right? A lot of us are not even self-aware. So if you're not self-aware, you're really not conscious. You have to be aware of everything that you tell yourself, and everything that you tell other people as well, because what you tell other people is taking a part of yourself that's within and giving it out in the form of words, right? So think about that. Whenever you like to talk about, what you want to do in life, think about exactly what you're saying, and think about the excuses that you make for yourself every day. Be conscious of this, right? Be conscious of everything that you do, everything that you say, and really, really understand, what exactly you're doing every single day. Because if you don't understand, then you will get caught in a loop and you will be putting yourself inside of a mental prison that will keep you from evolving, right? And so blame will ultimately destroy you, as it takes you away from being mindful, and it disconnects you from your higher guidance, right? So, and a lot of people will never realize this simply because of the fact that it feels good to make yourself small. It feels good to make yourself into a victim, some way, shape, or form, right? It feels good to say that the government is limiting everybody's opportunities, right? It feels good to say that. It feels good to blame politicians. It feels good to blame Satan, right? It feels good to blame God. It feels good to blame your woman. It feels good to blame your man, because what it does is it takes the focus off of you and it puts it to someone else, right? It feels good to blame your job for why you're not rich and to try to protest so that you can get rich off of a job that's paying you very little. It feels good to blame everything outside of you, right? But what we have to understand is that when we say the mind is really all, right, that means the mind is everything. Everything. And everything that's going on in your life is a result of what's in your mind. Everything. Not just one thing, everything. So that means you are responsible for everything. You are responsible for what's happened in your life, no matter how good it is and no matter how bad it is. You are responsible. And that's on a spiritual level, because intellectually you will never understand that, because you want to blame things still. And you might not understand how divine play works. You might not understand how Leela works. You might not understand how your soul works, because you've been trained to see it in an intellectual way. You've been trained to see it as, oh, well, all of this stuff just happened to me, right? It just happened for you. And I understand a lot of us have gone through things. I've gone through a lot of shit myself in my life. But I don't use my past as jurisdiction as to why I can't do what I need to do right now. I don't use my past as to why I can't be on my shit right now. I don't even use yesterday as a reason to why I can't be on my shit right now. You know, and I don't create anxieties about the future as to why I can't do something right now. I just do it. And so, like, what you have to understand is that the past, you know, because a lot of people like to talk about their past. A lot of people like to blame their past. A lot of people like to use it as excuses. They like to use the toxic people that were in their life as excuses. They like to use, you know, toxic environments that they were in as excuses, right? But at the end of the day, you are still responsible for your own healing. Yes, things are going to happen because obviously we are still on a cosmic level. We are still going through the divine play as separate beings. So yeah, a lot of fucked up shit is going to happen. A lot of unfair things are going to happen. It's all a part of the cosmic game called divine play, right? And none of it is real because this world is a matrix. This world is an illusion. So you think that you're going through these things, but on a spiritual level, it's really not like that. It's all a lesson. It's all a mind game. It's all a video game at the end of the day. But when we see that, when we understand that, then we can start to really master what's going on, right? You are always responsible for your own healing. You are responsible. No matter how bad things have gotten in your life, you are responsible for your own healing. You're responsible for how you think. You are responsible for how you feel. You're responsible for what you do, right? So, and you know, it's okay to feel emotions, right? You're not a robot. It's okay to feel emotions. That's what makes you perfect in the first place, the ability to feel that way. It's okay. It's okay to think, but you know, what's not okay is to attach these thoughts and to attach to these emotions and let that get in the way of us being the best that we could possibly be. It's all you at the end of the day. Everything is a result of you, right? And so when we attach so heavily to this blame mindset, attach so heavily to this complaining mindset, attach so heavily to this I don't want to mindset, this I can't mindset, this excuses mindset, right? That prevents us from evolving, right? A YouTuber named Steph is Cold, he always says, if you complain, you are gonna stay the same. And I remember back when I used to listen to him all the time, and that rings so heavily with me. I still carry that around me every single day. Because what complaining never really does anything for you. It just makes you feel good for a little bit, especially when other people listen. And then at the end of the day, you're still left with that, with nothing really. Yeah, you got a little bit of validation for 5 seconds, but now you still got to get on your shit. So that's why complaining has zero virtue. Blame has zero virtue. Excuses has zero virtue. So if other people don't give a fuck, other people aren't willing to hear it, I'm not willing to hear it, then you shouldn't be willing to hear it either. You shouldn't even entertain it, right? The biggest question that you have to ask yourself is that, okay, what am I doing to be on my purpose today? What am I doing to bring me closer to my goals today? What am I doing to bring me closer to the best version of myself today? Ask yourself those 3 questions at the beginning of the day, and ask yourself what you have done at the end of the day. And begin to hold yourself accountable. Keep a planner. I always keep a planner. My planner is right here, right next to me. And every day I hold myself accountable, even for when I don't do the things I'm supposed to do, I hold myself accountable. Everything that I do is in this planner. Every single day, I hold myself accountable for what I do and for what I don't do. Everything is in this planner, and I take it everywhere with me. You know, so there's never an excuse. There's only as many excuses as you really want to give yourself. Period. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life, right? And so you have to be able to see greater at all times. Do greater at all times, right? And you also have to be able to see what you are doing in every situation that you're in, especially when you feel like it's a bad situation, right? You have to see, okay, am I even doing the best that I can? You have to be willing to observe yourself at all times, so you can catch exactly what might be holding you back. You can catch exactly what What might be making you feel a certain way? What might be making you think a certain way, act a certain way? Watch yourself at all times. Journal at all times. This is very key. You know, the more self-aware you become, the easier it'll be for you to transform your life. Because once you start to hold yourself accountable, that's when you can also understand the language of your subconscious mind. You can understand exactly those programs, those negative entities that have been haunting you your entire life, and let them go. So that's the video. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and a comment. Let me know your thoughts. If you're not subscribed, subscribe so you can get notified whenever I post fire content like this. I wish you all luck in your journey, and peace.